Yeah, hello everyone, and welcome back. So, this is the continuation of my last discussion regarding the Java interview questions for the walking drive happened in the Cognizant organization. So, last time in the first part, we discussed already some questions which was shared by the multiple candidate which has attended this walk-in drive, and the questions were like, what is a static in Java, and where can static be used in Java, and also we discuss how to call one constructor from the other constructor, and also we discuss what is the super keyword in Java, what is method overriding, what is method overloading, and also we discuss the difference between these two, and we discuss abstract and interface difference in a very deft manner. Also we discuss why Java is a platform independent, and also we discuss the difference between C++ and Java, and also we discuss git compiler in Java, bytecode in Java. Okay, so these are the some questions which has been asked. We already discussed. So guys, yeah. So guys, if you have not watched that lecture yet, then I will suggest you to go and watch my previous lecture on this first part. Yeah. So this is the second part, and it is a continuation of that discussion. So today we are going to cover the more interview questions. Yeah, so the next question was asked like what is a class in Java, and this is very important question in Java. If you are going to attain any Java interview, then you must know that what is a class. So class in a Java is a kind of a blueprint or a template or a prototype used to create object. So basically a class contains the property and the behavior, and here property means field or variable, and the behavior means method or function. So in the real world example, you can think of like class is kind of a blueprint for a house. So when you develop a house, then you connect with the engineer, and the engineer actually provides you the blueprint, and in the blueprint it tells about that how many rooms it will, and what are the dimension of that room, and where are the doors, windows will be available, where will be the bathroom, and also the stairs, and all those information regarding that house it present, right? So in the similar manner, a class is a blueprint or a prototype which defines the properties and the behavior, and here property means field or variable, and the behavior means method or the function. So you can tell that a class is a combination of the properties and the behavior, right? So in the same way, a class defines the structure, and object is the real world instance of that structure. So when we talk about class, then of course the object come into the picture. So before moving to the object, let me like explain you that why class is useful. So class is useful because it provide us the encapsulation. So encapsulation means grouping the data and behavior together. So as in a class, you know that we keep the property and the behavior in a same portion, so that is a called as a class, right? So that is an actually an encapsulation where we are combining or grouping this data and behavior. Okay, and the second point is the reusability. It defines because you can define it once, and you can create the many object, and then you can use it into the many ways and also into the many places. So it provide you the reusability. Also it provides like maintainability, because it is easier to update one class than the many separate object. And of course it provide oops, and oops means object oriented programming. So class is a core concept in ops, right? So these are the some uses of a class. So in a summary, you can say that a class in Java is a user defined data type that act as a template for creating objects, and it contains the data that is filled and method that is function into a single unit, and is the foundation of object oriented programming in Java. Okay, now the next question was, what is an object in Java? So an object is an instance of a class, and it is a runtime entity that has state and behavior. Here state represent field or like variables, and the behavior represent method or function, right? So an object is an instance of a class. It occupies memory space and has a unique entity. So you can create object, you can create and you can modify it. You can use this object to perform certain task. With this object, you can call the properties of a class, you can call the method of a class. So if we talk about into the memory view, then you can create an object by using, let's say that you have a class with the name student. So student s1 equals to new student, and in the parameter you are passing name as Asis, and this is something age like 22, right? So new, so here you can see that new, so new keyword, it will allocate the memory in a heap, and s1, that is a reference of that memory object, right? Yeah, so this is an object. So basically s1 you can call as an object or a reference that will tell that where this s1 object is allocated in the memory. So basically an object contains the memory. Okay, so it contains some space in the memory which has the information about the classes. So in a real world example, you can say that a car Toyota, okay, so car, Toyota or any car has a blueprint. So that is a class, and object is actually a Toyota car that made up from that blueprint, right? So as we discuss, you can take it as a class as a blueprint, and let's say any car name as Toyota or anything which has been developed through that blue print. So that is an object. Okay, so you can make many cars or object from one blueprint class, right? So for a single class you can create a many object. In a similar manner, you have a blueprint. With that blueprint you can create many cars. So here car is an object and blueprint is a class. Okay, yeah, so guys, I hope you got the idea. Now the next question is, what is encapsulation? So actually encapsulation is one of the pillar of OOPS, and actually it means that hiding the internal data and allowing to access only through methods. Okay, so yeah, so what we do here, we so in a class we create a private property or a private variable, and so that this private variable cannot be accessed directly from outside the class. Then how to access this? For that we provide the public getter method, and also we provide public setter method. So public setter method is to modify the property, and public getter method is to access this property. So in other word, you can say it bind the data fields or a code method together into the single unit. Okay, and it protect the data from outside access or unauthorized modification, because here we are providing the variable with a private keyword so that it will not get access outside directly. Okay, so if you have to access, then you can use the getter methods. If you have to modify it, then you can use the setter method. Okay, so encapsulation is a process of wrapping of data and method into a single unit and restricting direct access to some of the object component. So here we provide private for data hiding and public for getter and the setter methods for controlled access, right? Yeah, so yeah, so like here is one of the example where you can think of that there is an employee class, and we have a name variable which is marked with a private. So here private field means data hiding. Okay, and then if it is hiding, then how you can access this name variable from outside the employee class? For that we have created one getter method here, and this is a public method to access this variable name. Okay, and then if you have to modify it, then we have a setter method by which you can modify it, right? And then we have a main method. In the main method, we are just creating the object of this employee, and with this employee object you can set the value, right, to this name variable by calling the setter method. And again, if you want to access it, then you can use get name. Okay, employee dot get name method, which will provide you the value of the name variable. Okay, so this is encapsulation where we are hiding. Okay, so where we are hiding the variable to get access directly from outside the world, and also it wrap the data and the property. So here you can see this employee class content this variable and this methods in a single unit, so that is a class, right? Or if you want to talk about any real world example, then you can think of a capsule. Okay, so capsule means the medicine. So in the medicine the data is hidden inside, right? You can only use it in the prescribed way through a method. So just like that in Java, class field is a private here, and you can access them by using a public method, right? Yeah, so like I hope you got this. So now the next yeah, okay, so let me explain you why encapsulation is important, because this can be the another question which I have not mentioned here. But yeah, but this can be another question, why encapsulation is important. See, encapsulation is important because it provide data hiding. Okay, and it provides security, it provide controlled access, it provide reusability, it provide flexibility. So why data hiding? Because as you have seen that it prevent the name variable to get access outside from outside directly. Okay, and also it restrict to modify this name variable directly from outside the employee class. For that we have a public method, of course, by which you can do it. Or in the public method you can put some validation, you can check the authorization, and then you can allow to access, right? Now the second like benefit is like security, because only trusted method can be change the data, right? So we have this method which is trusted method which can change or modify the data. And control, so you can add logic when getting or setting a variable, or it means you can do the validation that whether the authorized person is accessing this name variable or trying to modify the name variable. And it is also used for usability, so code is easier to use and maintain. And like flexibility, as I explained, that it is an internal structure can change without affecting the external code. Okay, so that's why encapsulation is very important. Now the next question has been asked, that why main method is a public, static and void. And this is very important question, because by default the JVM means reads the main method as a public static void man with the string argument as an array, right? So why it is public? Because JVM has to access it, right? That's why it has defined that this main method should be public. The main method must be accessible to the Java virtual machine from outside the class to start the execution. So public means it is visible to all, and if it is where private or protected, then JVM won't be able to access it, and it could throw a runtime error. So to make it visible and able to access from outside the class, that's why the main method is a public. So you can think of it like a public gate to enter your program. Let's say that you have a apartment where you have a public gate, right? So gate is there to enter it. So this is the same way, like public. Okay, now why static? So static keyword, as I discussed in the first part, why to use static keyword? Because with the static keyword, if you are keeping any variable with a static keyword, then it prevent the yeah I it means that you don't need to create an object to access it. So no object is needed to access that variable. So man is called by JVM without creating an object of a class. That's why static allows the JVM to call it directly by using the class name. So if main were not static, then JVM could need to create an object first, which creates a chicken and egg problem, because we don't know that how to because we don't because first we have to create an object or like that. So that's why there must be a problem. So JVM need to run the main to create an object, but main need to be object to run, right? Yeah, so this is the problem. So that's why it is kept as a static, so that it is not required to create an object. You can access the main method with the class name directly. So why it is void? Because no return value. Main does not return anything to the JVM. It is a starting point of a program, and there is nothing to get returned. Okay, that's why the Java people thought to keep this as a void, so that a no return is required, right? Yeah, so these are the some points which you can add while describing this question. Okay, so let's move to next question, that what is a constructor in Java? So constructor in Java is a special method that is used to create and initialize an object of a class. So constructor is a block of a code similar to a method that is automatically called when an object is created. So basically you can say that constructor is a special method with the name of a class which get called automatically when you create an object of a class. Okay, so usually we don't invoke constructor, and constructor is used to initialize a variable or to provide the variable value of a class. So okay, so like some of the characteristics of a constructor is that it has the same name as a class. Okay, it has no return type, it is called automatically, and it is used for initialization of the fields or the properties which you have declared in a class. All right. Yeah. So the next question is that what is the difference between the length and the length method in a Java? In Java, length and a length method look similar, but they are used for a different purpose. Okay, and we apply to the different types also. So features like used with, so this length is used with array, and length method is a string method. Okay, so basically it is a string method where it provides the length of a string. So length is used in the field or a property, and this length method is used as a method. Now as a syntax, we use array dot length. Basically we use this length in an array, and the length method with the bracket we use in a string to find the length of an string. So basically length, this one is used as an inside array to find the length of an array, and this length method is used in a string to get the length of a string. So this length will return the element in an array, and this will return the number of characters in a string. And this length does not accept any parameter, but this length must have parameters. Okay, or must like must have the parenthesis. Okay, so these are the some like differences between these two. Now the next question was difference between character constant and an string constant in Java. This is also very important. In Java, both character constant and a string constant represent text, but they are fundamental difference in syntax. It means with a single quote and a double quote, right? So single quote means a character constant, and double quotation means string constant. So single quotation represent a character, and double constant represent a string. So length of a single quotation, that is a character, is always one character, and in string constant can be zero or more characters. So if we talk about the memory size, then the character constant contain 2 bytes, and the string constant means contains each character contain 2 bytes. Okay, yeah, and here in the last you can see some example where we are using single quotation, and so this represent character, and this represent string as a double quote. Okay, yes, these are the some difference between these. Now the next question is like explain about abstract class in Java. This is also very important. An abstract class in a Java is a class that cannot be initiated directly, and it is used to provide a base for other classes. So what does the abstract class contain? It contains abstract method, it can contain concrete method. So abstract method is a method without a body, and a concrete method is a method which contains the implementation. And also abstract class can contain some fields and also the constructors. So an abstract class is a class that cannot be initiated directly, but it can be used to provide a base for other classes, right? So an abstract class is a class declared using an abstract keyword. So to declare abstract class, we have to use an abstract keyword in with a class. Okay, and it may contain incomplete method, or subclasses must override it, right? So here is an example like abstract class animal. So animal is abstract class because we are using abstract keyword. And we have one abstract method that is without a body, that is sound method is an abstract method. And then we have a sleep method, which has a fully implemented method, right? Yeah, and also abstract method can contain constructor, Also it contained some properties or field. All right. So can we create a constructor in abstract class? Yes, you can create a constructor inside an abstract class. Then what is the use of it? Because we are not going to initiate any abstract class directly. Okay, so how the constructor will get called? So actually, when we create the subclass of that abstract class, then the constructor of that abstract class get called, right? So we cannot initiate the abstract class object directly, but you can initiate the subclass object. Okay, once the subclass object is created, then the constructor of that abstract class get called, right? I hope you got this. Yeah. So why allow constructor in abstract class to initialize the common fields shared by all subclasses? So there may be chance that abstract class may contain some like common fields which is required in the further like subclasses. So you have to initialize those common fields. So in that case, this constructor can be useful. And also it is used for to perform like setup task for that subclass. Okay, and also it allows constructors chaining through super keywords like this. Here you can see an example. This animal is abstract class where name is a variable, and this animal has one this abstract class animal has one constructor with the string name as a parameter which we are assigning here. And then we have make sound and an abstract method. Now there is a dog class which extends animal. So dog is a subclass. Now abstract animal is a parent class. Okay, and then we have again the constructor of this dog class, which is using the super keyword to call the abstract class constructor, right? So this is the abstract class constructor animal, right? So from the dog class we can call the constructor of the animal class by using the super keyword here, right? And then we have a make sound method which is a fully implemented, right? So now with the main method, when we create the object of a dog, then this constructor of this dog class will get called, and as here we are using super keyword, then the constructor of the animal class will get called and it will initialize the name variable, right? So that's why this will initialize. Yeah, so basically name is a common field here, right? This can be shared with all the subclasses which we are creating, so it will helpful to initialize this common field, right? And also you can use the constructor chaining through super keyword, right? Yeah. So next question is that why an exception in Java? Okay, what is an exception in Java? This is also important. An exception in Java is an unexpected event that disrupt the normal flow of a program instruction during a runtime. So exception is an object that represent an array so which represent an error or abnormal condition that occurs while the program is running. So Java provides a powerful mechanism to detect, to handle, and to recover from each error using exceptional handling. So some of the common cause of exceptions are like when you divide a number by zero, then we get arithmetic exception. If you are accessing the null object, then we get null pointer exception. Okay, then also we get array index out of bound exception when you are accessing the invalid array index. Let's say that if a size of your array is 10 but you are trying to access the 11th index, then in this case you will get array index out of bound exception. Also file not found exception, because file if file is not present or not found, then you will get that exception. Class not found, because this got when class is not found. Yeah, so these are the some type of exceptions which are there. Yeah. Yeah, so these are the questions which I want to discuss with you in the second part. So guys, if you are interested more in this kind of video, then you can write it in the comment. I will try to bring out the more questions for this kind of like walkings interview, and I have the more questions for the same walking for the Cognizant. So if you want me to discuss all those, then you can write in the comment, then I will try to bring out for you. So thank you and have a nice day.